Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another Ni No Kuni Crossworlds video, and today we're going to look at Familiar Arena, and I'm going to do my first ever tier list for Familiar Arena in this game. What we're going to be looking at is familiars in their base form, and keep in mind, yes, as you level them up, their stats will increase as you get dupes, all of that, but looking at their base form will give you a sense of how they will scale. So we're going to look at their stats, and we're going to look at their battle active abilities, their Familiar Arena only ability that they use in Familiar Arena. It all makes sense, and it will make sense as we go. Now, I'm going to put the first picture on the screen here. This is Dinosaurus, and when we're looking at stats, here's what I want you to keep in mind. For the base unit, for the base form of these units, 450 is considered low for defense and attack, and high would be 500 plus. So Dinosaurus here, for example, has a fairly high attack at 487, but a very low defense at 453. HP low is 3680. This is actually the lowest that a 4-star base familiar can have, is 3680. So he's bottom of the barrel there. Anything over 4000 would be considered high. When you're looking at evasion, accuracy, crit, and crit resist, those are actually the same across the board for all of them. You have 429 for the regular 4-stars and 477 for the shiny 4-stars. So there's no difference there. So we're looking at attack, defense, HP, and their ability. So for Dinosaurus, we kind of have already started. The explanation's over. Let's start ranking these boys. A decent attack, 487 is pretty high, but very, very low defense and very, very low HP. For a unit that kind of gets in people's faces, that does hold him back a little bit. Now, his attack is very nice. 425% attack to enemies in an AoE, causes impact for 2 seconds. His move is good, but his low defense and low HP holds him back. So in my opinion, he's a B tier Familiar Arena unit. Boom, there we go. Dinosaurus done. Let's go next. We've got Eben-Torox next. Now, I think a lot of people have Eben-Torox overrated because he's everywhere. We got this unit for free. For a lot of people, he was their first 4-star dark familiar, so they've just dumped their resources into him. And the current state of Familiar Arena is that if you've dumped a lot of resources into something, it's probably pretty strong because so many people are running around with just low-level stuff. I don't think he's actually that good. 453 attack is really dang low. 487 defense is pretty decent. His HP is 3680, that's low. And then his move, it only scales at 132% attack damage, and the pushback is awkward to use. It's kind of cool right now that he like knocks somebody around, but it's not as powerful as one of the like suck everybody in for like AoE wombo combo abilities or something like that. I don't think Eben-Torox is going to be that great overall. I do think that right now in the game, which is what we're talking about, his ability to just be a high defense frontliner for you is good enough to keep him just barely into B tier in my opinion, but we'll see how he plays out over time. So I'm going B with Eben-Torox. All right, next up, we've got Hobgoblin. Now, Hobgoblin has a pretty high attack at 487, but a pretty low defense at 453. I bet you're starting to see the pattern here with how these base stats work, right? His HP, 3680, that's as low as it gets. And then his move is actually pretty good in the game right now. Stun Slam is he jumps to the enemy familiar with the highest attack. It attacks with a giant club and stuns and causes corruption. So he goes and he like gets after the enemy's strongest familiar. Right now, in our current state of the game, I think this is pretty strong because a lot of people are running around with only 1 or 2 very powerful familiars. That makes Hobgoblins like stunning that guy for 4 seconds. Very important. 4 seconds in Familiar Arena can feel like a lifetime. That's a lot of DPS. That's a lot of healing that can happen. And by eliminating the enemy's strongest unit, I think that's good. So right now, I have Hobgoblin rated as an A. I think he will fall off over time. I don't know that that move ever becomes worse, but he is a low defense, low HP person who can just get womboed down fairly easily by like really high damage enemy units. However, if he can go stun that really high damage hippocampus on the back line, he's pretty dang effective in the current state of the game. I'm going to give him an A right now for those reasons, but I think he falls off. Okay, Penguicorn is next. Now, Penguicorn, attack and defense at 463. So here's a unit with kind of middling to low attack and defense. HP 3873, so is elevating that HP. He's the tankiest, honestly, he's the tankiest guy, maybe besides Eben-Torox that we've looked at yet. His move, Magical Hat, covers an enemy familiar's eyes to decrease their accuracy rate. I thought this would be kind of trash. I played against it a lot yesterday. Like, I was looking for Penguicorns to fight. It wrecked me. That blind, that accuracy debuff just made my backline units miss over and over and over again. So I think Penguicorn's mix of a good stat pool and a 4-second AoE blind is good enough that I'm going to put him above Hobgoblin right now into the A tier. Good stats, he'll scale up well as you get more copies of him, as you level him up, and a 4-second blind causes a lot of misses on the enemy team. I think that's pretty good. Penguicorn getting that A. Now, Arachnis. Here is our first shiny 4-star that we look at, and you can see that play out in the stat pool, right? 542 attack is very, very high with 504 defense and over 4,000 HP. So already the tankiest unit that we've looked at and the highest attack unit that we've looked at. You can just see how the 4-star shinies just have this massive stat pool that they're building off of to scale. Now, her move is also very good. 290% of attack and AoE to enemies and increases their damage taken by 20% for 6 seconds. So it's not necessarily going to one-shot the entire enemy team, but it will up the damage of everybody else in your group. In my opinion, she easily slides into the top of A tier. I'm going to put her above everyone else that we've rated so far, but not quite into that like absolutely overpowered S tier. I am reserving S for the kings and queens of Familiar Arena. She doesn't quite make it in. She's a stat monster, but the fact that her big AoE attack doesn't scale that hard itself, 297%, it'll hit hard, especially because of how big her base number is, but it could be like 400 like some of the other ones, so she will easily out damage most of your regular 4-star units and any of your like 3-star units or something like that. Top of A tier. Alright, next up. I'm going to try not to make this a 30-minute video. Let's go to Light next. We've got Sparky. Now, Sparky's attack is pretty high for a 4-star base, 487, but his defense and HP are bottom of the barrel, and I can confirm as somebody who's leveled Sparky for my, like, Lava Valley team, he's a super squishy boy in Familiar Arena. Now, his move is also, like, not that great. Every third attack, he does 90% of his damage in an AoE. Like, yeah, it's just not good. And, like, it will get more powerful as you get more duplicates of him and awaken him more, but it's a small AoE that happens every third attack. That's a lot. It happens a lot, but, like, he's really just kind of an auto attacker, and he's just kind of he's a B tier character to me. I'm going to slide him in, like, right here, mid B. I don't know. He dies too easily. In the current state of the game where, like, there's some big damage AoE units out there, Sparky gets sniped out by them. I slide him into B. Alright, Birdie is next. Now, Birdie is an interesting boy. Attack is very low at 453, but decent defense at 487, and then 3680, again, low on that HP. I would have liked to have seen more HP for Birdie, considering especially what his move is. So, Overshock is his move. Charge mode engages when Birdie's HP is at 50% or below. So as soon as he gets taken to half HP, when charging is complete, it deals the damage taken during the charge mode back to the enemy familiar along with a shockwave. So at 50% HP, deals 162% of attack as damage to enemies in range. It deals 60% of damage taken for 3 seconds as damage to nearby enemies. I don't know exactly how good this is going to be someday. And if he just gets deleted, then it doesn't even really matter how much damage this is going to do. So, like, for now, I'm going to drop Birdie into top of B. I like his high defense, and I like the idea of his move where he kind of absorbs damage and gives it back. But I think he's going to have to, like, show up a little bit better than he is for me right now. I've yet to see one of him pop off, and so I'm just going to drop him into B. and leave him there for now. All right, next up, we've got Flutterby. Now, Flutterby is again rocking mid-level 463 for attack and defense with 3873 HP. So I like Flutterby's stat pool, honestly. For the Star Shield, Flutterby protects an ally with the power of the stars, restores a small amount of HP if the shield is destroyed. So an ally gets 15% of their max HP as a shield, and then a little bit of heal when that wears off. It's decent, like that's at 15% of your max HP is a pretty good shield, and then a little bit of a heal afterwards is nice, but we have much better shielding options within Light if you're lucky enough to get it, and like this just makes the damage from Flutterby auto attacks. I don't think the shield and heal are good enough to make up for just being like an auto attacker for your damage after that. I'm going to drop Flutterby into C tier, which is where I would put a lot of 3-star familiars, by the way. I just don't know if this will scale hard enough later, and right now it doesn't feel impactful to me. So that's where I'm dropping Flutterby. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of these, by the way. Okay, next up, we got Thumblemere. Now, Thumblemere is another mid-level 463 on attack and defense with 3873 HP. His move is a 15% heal for in-range familiars max HP over 7 seconds. Thumblemere is not very good. I'm going to put Thumblemere down here in bottom of C as well. Light base 4 stars have not impressed me in Familiar Arena at all. Here's my deal with Thumblemere, right? A 15% HP heal over 7 seconds will not save you from burst. Like 50% heal in one shot, it won't really save you from burst. A 50% heal over time, right? Restore 50% of in-range ally familiars max HP over 7 seconds. Yeah, it's AoE, but if you're just getting bursted by the enemy's AoE big damage, it hasn't felt good to me. I have Thumblemere, I've thrown him into Arena, and he has not been able to do much for me. So I'm going to drop him into low C tier, again hanging out near what like a really good 3-star could be. Now, if Light's lower cast was underperforming Dark, Bunnybot is S tier times 5. Bunnybot's insane. So let's put Bunnybot's picture on the screen. 515, both attack and defense, 4304 HP. So really good base stats, right? Then the shield, it's an AoE shield that negates the next 5 hits for the familiars. Oh, it also negates status effect. Yeah, it's really good. If you're fighting against Bunnybot, I have lost 2 teams with significantly less CP than me because freaking Bunnybot's out here just nullifying my damage while they burn through my front line and then kill my back line. Bunnybot's insane. This character I think is not only good for now, I think Bunnybot will be good moving forward. This prevents burst, it prevents like regular damage. I don't know, Bunnybot's broken. Absolutely busted. If you have Bunnybot, it's worth leveling Bunnybot for Familiar Arena. But oh, by the way, the shield doesn't scale. Here's the other beautiful thing about Bunnybot. For a lot of these, your scaling comes from getting dupes and awakening them. Notice there's no scaling on Bunnybot's shield. Yes, the elemental status resist will scale up with dupes, but the shield is just 5 hits. It's flat 5 hits. So if you have a 1 copy of Bunnybot, put that thing to level 30 and just put it in your team because it'll carry you. It's crazy good. Okay, Earth. Earth is next. Now, Ouroboros. Here's the deal with Ouroboros. Minimum defense, minimum HP, which just holds this guy back because 487 attack is nice, and his 263 damage AoE attack with a knockdown for 2 seconds in an AoE is a very powerful move, especially because now I'm going to talk about the current elements in the game. Water is the dominant element in the arena right now, so Earth units, in my opinion, get a little bit of a boost because water is so dang powerful, and Bunnybot. Basically, water and Bunnybot is running arena right now. But Ouroboros will be good against water. He does a lot of damage, he does AoE damage, and he crowd controls a little bit. For all of those reasons, I'm going to slip him into bottom of A. His big holdback is, even though he is counter element to water, his defense and HP are so low, he still can die if you're not heavily invested into him. So I'm going to drop him into low A. but he's doing pretty good. Now, next up, we've got Disbelief. Disbelief is somebody I'm a pretty big fan of. I like the 4-star base stat lineup when it's that 463, 463, 3873, especially because since he's a healing type, I like them to be a little bit thicker. I want him to live a little bit more. Disbelief has a very nice heal. It is an instant heal, not a heal over time. I much prefer the instant heals in this game because there's so much burst. So instantly restores HP of the ally familiar with the lowest HP by 35% of its max HP. So not only is it an instant heal, it is an instant heal that actually heals for more than many of the other familiars heal over times ultimately do. I like this a lot. So I've used Disbelief pretty extensively. I think he gets a little bit of bonus points for being an Earth element right now, and I'm going to drop him in here, near the top of A. I don't think he's as good as the 4-star shiny units are right now, but I think he can hold his own, and I've been impressed with Disbelief. Now, I do have a couple copies of him, so I've unlocked him a bit, but let me know if you use Disbelief and if you are a big fan of him. Alright, Stagthorn is next. Now, Stagthorn, I think, is a very, very powerful unit in the current state of the game. One, he's Earth, which again, water being so strong, Stagthorn kind of exists as the anti-water unit in the game right now is what I would say. His attack is a little low for a 4-star shiny at only 504, but his defense is 542 and he has over 4,000 HP, so that's good. Now, his move is an AoE 272% damage that sucks the enemies towards him. Here's the deal with playing Stagthorn. You want to find the enemy's strongest water dragon, and y'all know what I'm talking about, Hippocampus players, and you just put Stagthorn kind of like a little bit away from them, like kind of a little bit across the map, and then Stagthorn just sucks that dragon in, and now he's got him, and they're fighting each other. Stagthorn will beat the dragon in a fight. Now, the dragon still does his AoE damage, and that's a thing, but a good Stagthorn can at least beat a Hippocampus. Stagthorn, I'm going to put him at the very top of A. I don't think he's going to be like a meta-defining unit over time. We'll have to see how the meta develops. But right now, as a counter to the current water domination, I think he is about as good as you can do. So I'm going to put him into A. Not Bunny Bot, but pretty strong. All right, next up, we've got Surya. Now, it's Water's turn, and like I said, Water's busted. Surya, though, very high attack at 487, and then with the 453, 3680. So a squishy for a 4-star guy. He fires a powerful pressurized water bubble that deals damage and causes frostbite. Surya does a lot of damage, and again, it's more AoE. It's a 201% of his attack as AoE damage to enemies, and then frostbite with 100% of that damage again, or the 100% of his attack damage again over 5 seconds. So it's a powerful AoE wombo combo. By himself, not exactly busted, right? But when comboed with Hippocampus, just this is AoE domination wombo combo category. I do not think he is super great alone, but I am willing to slide him in to bottom of A right now, which is kind of what the meta is. Okay, we're not ready for Hippocampus just yet. We've got to do Splisher first. Splisher, as good as Water is, I don't think Splisher's any good. His attack and defense and HP is that middle level one, right? 463, 463, 3873. So, okay, he's that balanced boy, and he's a healer. This is an AoE heal over time. Restores 10% of in range ally familiars max HP over 5 seconds and instantly removes burn. Look, AoE healing is nice, but here's the thing, it's only 10%, and he is like, Splisher is a melee unit. He gets in there, man. Splisher goes in and just dies. Like, I want my healers to live for the whole fight. The longer a healer is alive, the more healing they get to do. If you've ever played League of Legends, if you can't kill Soraka, you can't beat the enemy team. Splisher dies too easily. I'm going to drop him in to I just don't think he's good. Maybe there's some Splisher lovers out there. He's my highest level water familiar. I need to be able to work him into my arena familiar teams. I cannot make it happen. He's not good for me. I'm dropping him into C. Okay, now, easiest rank of the day, besides Bunny Bot, is Hippocampus. 542 HP is banging. 504 defense with over 4k HP. His move is crazy. So he summons a powerful torrent to attack and pull enemy familiars towards the center. 74% of attack is AoE per hit to enemies, right? So it's like chugging them up. And it groups them all, increases damage by 25% to frostbitten enemies. So basically this just like one-shots your fire people. It one-shots your not leveled up people, and it's insanely strong, especially because Hippocampus has the current benefit in our state of the game of being the first featured unit that we had. His banner, his raid up banner was the first one we got, so anybody who like spent money at the beginning of this game or just pulled on that banner and pulled the Hippocampus has not only gotten this guy, but already invested into him. When we're talking about right now, which is what this tier list is based on, about, you know, it's been out for a week in global, a lot of the familiars that have been used, that people have been leveling, are near the top. Yeah, Hippocampus is the god. Hippocampus and Bunnybot, in my opinion, are the current gods of the familiar arena. They are the S tier boys. He's crazy, dude. Don't fight Hippo. My strategy is don't fight Hippocampus. And if I have to fight Hippocampus, I pray that my Earth boy can suck him in and deal with him. All right, Fire. Now, Fire gets a bit of a nerf right now because water is so powerful, but Fire does have some decent units. Might will be the first one we talk about. 487 attack with minimum defense and HP. So he's a DPS boy. His move, Terrible Slashing, Might quickly slashes the sword to attack the enemy familiar. 43% of attack as AoE damage to enemies, and a knockdown for 2 seconds. The 2-second knockdown is nice, so Might is somebody who wants to like get up in the face of his enemies and knock them down. Problem with Might is right now, getting up in the face of these water people, he just dies. So I'll even though I like the idea of Might with like AoE crowd control, I have to drop him into like maybe mid B. I think you will see, by the way, I think Might is one of the more popular familiars in the game. So I do think you are right now seeing some leveled up Mights that might be overperforming. I have yet to see Might really start doing a lot of work. Maybe his role will change, or maybe you have a different opinion. Again, I'd love to hear it, let me know. Next up, we've got Shrimpaler. Now, Shrimpaler is my boy, you guys. Even though water is dominating right now, Shrimpaler is like up here in top of A. Look, he's a healer. Shrimpaler's a healer. He's got the stat pool that I like for my base 4 stars. 463, 463, 3873. I like that. His heal is only 2%, right? But it's 2% of that ally's max HP every time Shrimpaler auto attacks. So he's heal, 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 heal. And if you're running somebody like a Stagthorn, or somebody who's up there just like really tanking through the enemy, Eben-Torox right now is very popular for this. Freaking Shrimpaler, who is a long range unit, he will stay in the back. You put Shrimpaler in your back line, he will just hang out back there, and your front line dude is just heal, 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 heal. And if he's only tanking 1 or 2 units and he has elemental advantage especially, Shrimpaler can keep them up for an ungodly amount of time. Now, burst is his weakness, so if your whole team gets bursted, he does not have one big heal that he can drop, but if you can get into a sustained battle, Shrimpaler can win you that fight with his sustained healing. Probably the best sustaining healer we have in the game. Now, Molten Lion is last, and Molten Lion is he's my goodest boy. Like, I have Molten Lion. I've gotten super lucky on just randomly pulling him off of a familiar egg on banners. Anyway, Molten Lion has 504 attack, and then he's a tank, 542 defense, and 4088 HP. So good stats. His move, Final Flame, is not very good. The problem with it is this. He's got to die. So he becomes immortal for 7 seconds when his HP is at 10% or below. It increases his attack speed by 25% and his basic attack damage by 50% for the duration. His biggest problem is that his special move triggers when he's about to die and then just makes him better at auto attacking. He's already just an auto attacker, and with this, he's now just a better auto attacker for 7 seconds before he's dead. In the current state of the game, I think he's like really just murdered by Hippocampus. One reason I cannot, or I'm struggling to climb higher than I currently am in Familiar Arena is I've invested so heavily into Molten Lion because he's such a great regular game unit that he's just getting sniped by the Hippocampuses of the world, just annihilating him. So I'm going to put him, I still think, look, I still think that these shiny guys are just really, really good. Their stats are so high, and he is decent. But I think he is currently the worst of our 4-star shinies. And again, I'm not grading, by the way, those like ones from the like special metal shop because I've never seen one, so I have no notes on them, and I don't think we're going to see them for a really long time. So I guess of the current shiny 4 stars, I'm going to drop Molten Lion into last place of them. However, again, their stat pools are just massive, and if people have these right now, they've invested a lot into them. So that's why I think that they're performing so well. I will be very curious to see what the state of Global Familiar Arena is in a month or two, when people have played the game for long enough to really level up some of these base 4-star units and some more of the base 3-star units. The base 3-star units, some of them are pretty decent. Their stat pools suck, but it's not that difficult to get, you know, enough copies of them to get them to, within a couple months from now, to get them to that like 7, 8, 9, 10 awakening rank. And at that point, I'd be willing to revisit them and maybe add them to this tier list. I think a lot of them will hit the C tier and the D tier and be just fine to play with. But anyway, that's my current tier list, guys. Tear this thing apart in the comment sections if you want to. This is based on my experience. I'm currently like top 30 on my server or something like that. So I've seen about everything that a lot of the people who've spent more money than me have, because it recommends me fight some super big whales, and I'll fight them just to see what their teams will do, and then I regret it because I lose my ranking points. So yeah, this was a fun video to make. I really like making tier lists. It's going to change as the meta evolves, so it'll also change based on your comments. If you have some feedback, I read it all. Let me know. All right, this video is probably long enough already. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.